Hello, everyone. This is Chris Farah, and welcome to Vanity Fair with Chris Farah. It's my podcast, it's my name, and also I host it. Hi, Happy New Year. How are you all? I honestly cannot wait to get some great guests back in the studio, but as it's been the holiday season, I wanted to kind of give everyone grace, including myself. I've been traveling to make sure that I can get episodes out without having to worry about people's schedules because it's hard. At the same time, I've been traveling. It's really me. I'm blaming other people. It's me, obviously. I went to London and Paris for the holidays. It was great. I've never been to any place besides my aunt and uncle's house or my own house for Christmas. So it was lovely to be abroad, abroad. You know what I mean? And at the same time, I'm so excited to be back. But let me tell you, I had so much fun. One cool thing that happened 2 years ago was that I got to invest in a Broadway show. One thing about me you should know is that I'm a theater nerd. You know that. Now you do. I was a theater arts major and I've studied comedy. I do a lot of comedy my whole life. And I saw the off Broadway production of Oh Mary, written by Cola Scola couple years ago, and I knew that it was hilarious. It's very funny, very well written, and farcical, and I just was like, "This is great." And so when I was given an opportunity by my friend, Julie Boardman, to invest with her in this musical, we certainly did. And if you follow Broadway, it's been a really big hit. Turns out it was a really good investment, and I think that first of all, I'm lucky. Also, B, it's like the one thing that I do know, right? Like I know theater, I know comedy. So it was a really awesome, awesome like moment for me to be like, oh, I know that was good. And I know that it's funny. And I'm so happy that other people do as well. Like, and for sure, like as any sort of businesswoman or any sort of like financial person, I was like, oh, impressed with myself. But more so, Oh Mary's success has been really exciting to watch as an artist because I love camp comedy. Like, I love it. I love camp comedy. It's like a whole situation. I love it so much. I think it's when done right, which is grounded in truth. It's, subversive, it's smart, and it's joyous. So, if you get a chance to see Oh Mary, I certainly would. I mean, obviously, I invested in it, but they opened the West End production of it. I got to go to the opening. So that's why I was in London. And then when I was there, my dad went with me. I have no siblings. And so we were just like, well, what are we worrying about getting back to America for? Let's go to Paris. And we certainly did. Oh my God, I ate so much cheese. I think I have like mild and eczema breakout because of the cheese, but it's completely worth it. At the same time, though, I'm so pumped to get some fun guests back in to talk about dumb shows. And dumb shows are on the docket for today. 90 Day Fiancé. It's before the 90 days. It's season 8, episode 4. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. Like, how do you say that without saying it like that? It's gonna be like a bumpy ride. That's I guess Emma for you. But it should be, it's gonna be a bumpy ride. Okay. She told you she liked camp, only mere seconds ago, so that's what's happening. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is my 4th episode as a solo podcast. If you haven't yet, please give me 5 stars and just let people know that you're enjoying what's happening here. Also, you can follow me at Chris L. Farah wherever you follow people. I have a YouTube, I have a Patreon, I have a Substack, I have an Instagram, I have a TikTok. It's Chris L. Farah on almost all platforms. Can you believe it? All right, my loves, let's get in to this very like long but good episode. And we had so many people. Okay, Emma and Zayed are back, but let's start with Lisa and Daniel. So Lisa, we surely met last episode and we're like, oh my God, obsessed with her. And she has led a life, and that life has led itself to 5 marriages. And God bless. That's, like, one thing, and I'm so happy that she has been able to express herself and her sexuality in many different ways, and she's been married, as she's told us, to men and women, and all of that is, like, awesome, inspirational, not that she can't, find a person for the rest of her life, but she's someone who certainly is a relationship girl, and she's not afraid to go after what she wants. And those things are prevalent now because she is like a little schoolgirl obsessed with Daniel. It doesn't bode well. I mean, this entire storyline is plucked from the 90-day archetypal map of an elder seasoned woman who is not quite ready to accept that it takes certain things to entice a younger, hot male. And that, in lieu of some of those things like youth or, society standards of beauty, there is like a false hope that love, their own side of the relationship, the love only they have for the person will somehow conquer it all. And you know what? It doesn't. It doesn't. But listen, it makes great TV. And we're here to watch, uh Lisa starts with she's packing and she's nervous and she's afraid, like, what's she gonna do? She might pee when she sees him. That could happen. Incontinence is an issue. We also know that she wears wigs. She's already talked about that. And she's not the first person on this episode, Emma season, to wear one. And she does pack her brand new wigs to wear. She also shows us her natural hair, and her natural hair is like super thick. It's also dyed like what looks like a beautiful color. There's some dimension there. Sure, it's not combed. Sure, she didn't comb it for this packing episode, but she doesn't need to comb her hair anymore. She's like relying on these wigs. She's got 3 brand new ones. And she's like, I have to deal with a lot with these wigs. They cause rashes and lots of sores. And we're like, oh my God, why? Or if you wear a wig, are they supposed to? She's like, "I'm gonna sleep in them," and I'm like, "Oh, that's probably why." Hmm. One thing that's really sad, uh, that I can lay claim to is Lisa is obsessed with the idea that Daniel, I don't know why called him Danielle. Daniel finds her attractive, and he's not, right, going to, and, that's sad. I wish I didn't have to say it, but because she knows that underneath it all, she's obsessed with, like, trying to pretend that's not gonna happen with these wigs. It's not just the wigs, that her problems are, that are her problems. She also loves women, and he loves women, and he hates women who loves women, and there's the rub. Um, One sad thing about Lisa as well is that she has a complicated relationship with her daughter, and it seems like her daughter has seen some shit and is still processing the trauma from that. And we're like, "No. Well, can you just also do some work on yourself, Lisa? Like, what is the work that has been done? Because if your daughter can tell you that she has trauma from your choices and you can look her in the face and be like, yep, it doesn't also seem like reasonable for you to lie to her face by saying you won't get married to a man that you are absolutely wanting to get married to. The only thing stopping Lisa from getting married to Daniel is not her daughter's like absolute wish that she won't. It's more so the fact that she knows that if he knew, I mean, 1/10 the actual Lisa, that he wouldn't get married to her. And I don't even mean physically. Sure, like the wig is one thing. She doesn't even need the wig. She has like very thick hair. She could just grow it out. To me, it's not a big deal. I have short hair too right now. It grows. But it's this. She is. still legally married to a woman. Now, when she met Daniel online, he was like, "Are you free to marry?" And she was like, "Yep, totally free. Uh-huh. Free, free, free. Just like a day after Christmas sale. Shit's free here, you know." And no, she is 9 years separated from her wife. And as she decides to hurry up and go to Nigeria, um, she like entrusts her daughter to get this certified divorce letter and then have to turn it around and mail it to her so that she can prove to this man that she's no longer married and to a woman. Lisa is too old, too seasoned, but I'm going to say old because I'm mad at her, to let some young, dumb man make her feel like she has to change her whole fucking life and lie to him to feel loved. Lisa, it's too late for you. And I mean this, to play around with dumb shit like that. You've been married 5 fucking times. Why do you not know that people either love you or they don't? Like, that's it. People either see or love you, accept it all, or they don't. You can't hide like your traits you think are unlovable or lie to them and think that's going to work. That's insane. It really is. It really is. And what's upsetting even more is that I guess that her daughter has to watch it all. I mean, that's it. And her daughter knows. Half of me is like, if the only good thing that happens from this whole season is that Lisa's daughter gets a fucking like breath of fresh air away from Lisa's trauma and Lisa's insecurity to finally like make some friends that love themselves so she has an honest chance at this world, at feeling good or finding love or surviving. I mean, you have to like find a way to just be okay with yourself and not give a fuck what anyone else thinks because you like yourself, because you love yourself, because you feel like you're a good person and you can't be told differently. Why? Why is it like so difficult for people to love themselves? I don't know what Lisa's issue is because on one side of it, I'm like, I've never been married. To me, I'm like, you should feel lovable only in that you found 5 people to love you or at least pretend to enough to get married. I would assume that the self-confidence garnered from just other people claiming you would give you like some semblance of your own self-love in this world, but it hasn't for Lisa. It certainly hasn't. And I wasn't there for those relationships, although her daughter was. And again, like this is again, the best possible 90 Day Fiancé situation where you're like, oh, it's horrible and she has no idea what's going to happen and it's bad news. And also B, like, please don't make me sit through this again. I can't. It's traumatic for me to watch Lisa. And I'm not her daughter. I'm just another woman living in this world. And also having had watched 14 billion offshoots of 469, you're welcome, seasons of 90 Day Fiancé where I'm like, "Oh my god." So we get she's obviously on her way to Nigeria, and the 24 hours little jump back we get is of Daniel. He calls himself a Christian Igbo man. Igbo. I'm so sorry if I said that wrong. They love competition. They love to work hard. Now, what's interesting is it's always interesting to me, when there is kind of a marriage between what is a people and like culture and lineage that has nothing to do with Christianity, but obviously got people, missionaries, that came to their part of the world and preached Christianity. And some people were like, okay, we'll buy it. We'll sign up. But we're not gonna let go like loving our gods. Like I find that so interesting. And I do because I was obviously raised Catholic and some Christians are like Catholics aren't Christian, but that's not true. We are. And they are. And, one thing about having to, like, submit to, like, Christianity is you're supposed to definitely be like God and Jesus. Not even Mary, fuck her. We don't like women, but God and Jesus are the God. It's one. And the Holy Spirit sometimes too. And they've been fighting over that Holy Spirit 1 billion times. But Christians are like, we will, we're not going to worship false gods. We like just that one. And so obviously Daniel's people is not the only like Christian group that subscribed to Christianity and was also like, "No, we got our own deal too. We're gonna have some brouhaha, we're gonna have some witches, we're gonna have, like, some pagan shit, and we will just marry the both." Yes, we're Christian. Also, we talk to gods through this spiritual healer. I I like that because it's, hypocritical, and then therefore, it almost does seem kind of like Christian-y, right? Listen, the Christians out there that live by what Jesus said is to love thy neighbor as thyself and don't throw stones and all that stuff. If they could just get a little bit of a louder voice in politics or whatnot, I certainly would talk less shit. But that's not what's happening. So great. Okay. So um he's like, so this is what's up. I'm a great catch. Very close to my family, except that my mom died, and so let me tell you, I'm still close to her. And she told me a couple of things. That one time she was in war, and the only way in which she survived that was that a white woman saved her from it. And so before she died, she was like, "You find yourself the white woman that's going to save you." And Danielle did. Now, Daniel is like, "Great. I found an old white woman who has boobs and money, and she pays for my life. And I tell you that she has boobs, and it's great. She's perfect for me. Um, I'm just going to go talk to this spiritual person and find out if she's a good or bad omen." And that spiritual person is like, "Yeah, I'll talk to the ancestors slash gods we actually believe in because we've been doing this shit longer than when the missionaries came here. And we just had to like say yes to those crazy banshees to get whatever fucking food and money they were giving. And the minute they left, we're like, yep, Christians. And also, let's get back to the real religion here, which is I'm going to go speak to a spiritual man who's going to do some dice rolling, honey, in a cave and tell you what they think." And he is just like rolling this dice and he's like, "You tell me, ancestors and gods. I'm not deaf and I'm still listening. You eat that, you take that and you tell me." And the gods did. They're like, "Well, guess what? That white woman's a good sign." Now, I want to say I want to say that we know Lisa isn't, but I wanna think that, like, maybe the white woman that the ancestors and gods saw was, like, one of the producers of 90 Day Fiancé, like, maybe that's what they saw, and so they're like, "Yeah, it's a great thing that they're coming, and, like, you'll be famous, you'll be on TV, and, you can maybe get some sort of, opportunity from that." But I can't imagine Lisa is, only because we know all the things about Lisa. Yeah, Daniel is not Daniel is like, "We don't like homosexuals here, we don't believe in it, and so no one can do it." And we cast them out of the village. Well, I wonder how many times Lisa had to hear that and then just smile and, like, swallow. I don't One other thing about her, it's not just the gay thing, and that part is, like, one thing, but another thing that I wasn't expecting, and neither were you, was, like, here's the problems with Lisa. 1, she vape. Okay. First of all, I feel like everyone vapes, now. Okay. I mean, if they're not vaping, they're smoking cigarettes. Oh my god, everyone's smoking cigarettes again. Have you noticed? Okay. He's, you know, lived a world, and it's different from ours, and everyone has their judgments. It's so interesting. It's interesting because Daniel is like, "I'm so thankful that she pays for everything." And I wanna be like, "Okay, yeah, I get that." It's funny to me to have someone offer to pay for, like, my whole life and then be like, "But you better not do the things I don't like you to do. Don't leave the seat down." Wait. Leave the seat up. Sorry, that's what it is. Don't put the toilet paper roll where the paper comes out from the bottom. It just seems like if you are operating in a place of absolute gratitude for someone to pay for your whole life and change your life, I would try and like hinder any preconceived notions about what they can't do. That's just me. Listen, he really likes those boobs though. He's like, she's got them, and that's what I want. She's got secrets. Those boobs are full of secrets, Daniel. And you know what? Many people have loved those boobs. They've squeezed them and they've grabbed them. And you got to be okay with all those people. I wonder how many sexual partners Danielle thinks that Lisa's had, just knowing that her age alone. Like, is he going to be like, you've had more than two? You know, just the person you had a baby with, and maybe one other, the person you just got divorced from? I mean, I don't know. Um, Again, this is so shitty. And it's shitty because of the fact that she has a kid. It's always so shitty when they have kids. And I don't even care how old they are, but truly, obviously, her kid is older. It's just that she lied to her daughter and they have a codependent relationship and she's already traumatized her daughter. So if you're going to traumatize your daughter, don't lie to her. And at the same time, Lisa's daughter has to watch this if she doesn't know her mom and understand that her mom is a lying sack of insecure shit. I know I'm being harsh toward Lisa. It's just that I think that when you take the responsibility of like caring for and raising someone else, you have to be good about your word and you have to try to be a good person, not just for yourself now, but for them. And Lisa it has like, the mental emotional IQ of someone who is like almost like a heavily sheltered 14-year-old that has lived in a cult and is like wanting to get away from the cult by pretending that it's all going to work out with obviously one bad choice where you're like, no, but I understand because you've never known anything and you think this person's your way out. But Lisa's obviously had five different ways out. Ugh, it's really hard to deal with. And I also feel like, yeah, I want her so badly to just be with a hot lesbian that will allow her to have the normal hair that she wants. She is obsessed with Daniel and, like, his physical form. And so, maybe she wants to be with a man again for sure, but, I mean, I think that there's a part of Lisa that really has to understand that she should find someone that, like, is a little more on her page. And I mean that across the board. I mean, like, someone who has lived a life, has some more years on them, who maybe isn't as physically attractive and who probably doesn't need her money as much. Like, that's what she needs to find. And I wish to God that at some point, that at a certain age, we were all gifted like a level of wisdom so that we don't make like horrible choices over and over again. It's really hard to watch someone do so, like especially at an elder age, because then if you're someone like me, you're like, well, am I going to do that? Am I gonna just live in a fucking delusional world where I suddenly pretend to fall in love with someone who obviously isn't for me when I'm 60 goddamn 7 and just, like, wants to pretend that I'm with, like, a 22-year-old from Colombia? I mean, no is the answer. But also, I wonder if Lisa is just like, underneath it all, I have been so supremely unhappy that I'm willing to risk everything, my reality, my own, like, hopes and dreams, like, how I'll feel at the end of this under a morsel of hope that some man is going to, like, I guess, marry me, claim me, and then live happily ever after with me. I wonder what Daniel's mom thinks. I feel like Daniel's mom has to come through with that spiritual healer and be like, I didn't mean her. I didn't mean that white woman. Can you go back on Plenty of Fish? Can you find another one? Or go to like Farmers Only? I need you to like marry like like a conservative one, honey. Like, I don't know. Okay, let's move on. Uh, okay, let's move on to a brand new couple. Jovan from Alabama and Annalyn. So we start off and we have a very fun atmosphere. It's already like a good time. And the good time is bingo with old people. I love bingo and I love old people. Oh my God. And so does Javon too. He's like, let me tell you, honey, it's pure fucking comedy with them. They have absolutely no filter. And I'm like, well, then can they tell you about how you might need some help? Anyway, God bless. He comes in to this old folks home with lemonade. It is not just bargain basement lemonade. He's at least if it's not freshly squeezed, it's been doctored up with fresh lemon slices and herbs. And I found that to be delightful. Ah, I was so happy for these people, honey. They're going to have like just not some country crock. We're not going to have just some Minute Maid lemonade, honey. I don't know if country crock made lemonade, but they're going to have like what felt like mint or basil. And this one nice lady is like, I tell you, I met my husband. He was a soldier. And then on our first date, we went to a fair and he bought me this ring. It's a rose ring and I still have it. And I was like, oh my God. First of all, humble brag. I'm just kidding. Um, it was a lot easier, I guess, to just like meet the love of your life back then, or you just settled real hardcore and you didn't ask any questions. I'm not quite sure which one it was, but this lady did it. I loved her for a bunch of reasons. A, her eyebrows. B, because my grandmother also married a soldier. My grandmother, it's like such a crazy story that I'm going to say real fast, is from Oakdale, Louisiana, where oak is king and pine is queen. That's the phrase. And she's Syrian, like very Syrian, but her parents are Syrian. I mean, she's Syrian, obviously, her parents are born in Syria. She is born on the boat coming from fucking Syria, but she lands in Louisiana, so she never has an Arabic accent, and she just has a Southern accent her whole life. She's like in the middle of 10 kids, and they're just kicking it up in Louisiana. Now, at this point, it's like the 1930s, 40s, right? I found this so interesting because I knew there was like Arabs in the South, but when I went to Clarksdale, Mississippi, which is not where Louisiana is, but obviously, somewhat somewhat south, um, Mississippi Delta. I got to like heavily be where Tennessee Williams wrote all his plays, and there there was a lot of Syrians. They talk about the Syrians and the white people and the black people around this area and like how everything came to be or whatever. Clarksdale is a very interesting town. If you watch Sinners, that's Clarksdale. It's the birthplace of blues. Also, as I said, Tennessee Williams going back. I didn't think about like how many Syrians there were. There wasn't Syria, Lebanon yet because it was just called Greater Syria because, other people decided to just make borders and then Lebanon was born. And a lot of Christians will call themselves Lebanese when they're in fact Syrian, just because a lot of Christians live in Lebanon and that's how they decide. Because, people are feudal. People, as you can tell, tend to hang out with like-minded people, and religious divides are along those things. All that to say, my grandmother is living in Louisiana. In the war, there's like people that are stationed in the war, soldiers, and some of the Syrian soldiers, because they're Syrian soldiers, they are told that there's a part of Oakdale, Louisiana, where there's a lot of Syrians, so that if they go into town, they can be expected to be like hosted by people, cousins, not really, but by people that know them or know their family. So there would be Syrian soldiers that would go into her town, and then just other Syrian households would just open up their homes and be like, come on in for dinner. Here's some kefta. Here's some hummus. Here's some tabbouleh. We know what you like. Thank you for fighting for America, the land that we're all in now." Um, and my grandmother met a Syrian soldier in her small ass fucking town. And then for the rest of my grandmother's life, she was like, "You'll marry another Syrian too. It's super easy." And I'm like, grandma, I don't know, grandma. Um, okay, so it worked out for my grandmother though. It worked out for this nice lady at the bingo home. I don't know if she's gonna get bingo, but it feels like in her life she already did. Javon is waiting for his bingo to come up, honey. Javon tells us his story. He's like, "It's hard out there for me. Women nowadays, American women, they want a six pack, they want six figures, and they want 6 inches. And I don't have that." And we're like, "Wow, that's a lot of information about your dick we didn't know." Oh no, Javon, I mean, we can talk about this. Okay, let's break this down. I personally have never wanted a man with a six pack. And I feel like society in the internet has made it perfectly fucking clear that a lot of women don't need like a hard-bodied man. In fact, we kind of like a little bit of a dad bod or a little bit of softness. At least I do. I mean, maybe if you are like a very fit person, I mean very fit, I mean like a very low percentage of body fat, yeah, maybe you're like, "I also want people with low percentage of body fat," but that's not me, and I don't feel like a lot Javon, I don't think a lot of women around him are like, "We won't tolerate you because of the way you look," because he's attractive. He's like, tall, attractive. He has a great face, he has great hair, like, there's nothing about his physicalness that would make him to me, that he should feel insecure. But he tells us this line, the six-pack line. We're like, "Okay, 6 figures." Now he's like, "I don't make a lot of money in this home." And that makes me sad. Because I love how he's caring for these elder people and I feel like he should be compensated. And I'm going to agree with him that women want a man that has financial means. Yes, that is the one. Yes, we do. Women, and this is a generalization, but cisgender, heterosexual, whatever, God bless. Yes, they usually want a man that has financial security. But you know who doesn't? Lisa. You know who doesn't? Laura. These women can't believe how lucky they are to be with men that have no money. Not one figure. Not one figure. But anyway, Javon. So you're right. And then he says the 6 inches thing. And we're like, oh, what a weird way to say you have a small dick. And how small is it? Why do you feel insecure about it? Okay. The numbers, the 6, 6, and 6 is A, devil's number, but also B, as some throwback. Obviously, as a female, I can say that there has been also things that we have been told that men want. And I can tell you numbers. 5'3", under 110. That was like something that like in the 50s and 60s men wanted. And then from like the 50s and 60s until now, it felt like, 20 or 36, 24, 36, right? For some reason, it's very well known that men like love hot women. And there are, it is true for me that the size I am has affected I guess the flirtation and or dates I've been asked on or the way men treat me. I feel confident in saying that. So for Javon, I'm like, I think you really only have to worry about the figures, the money. Because I even think that there's like women who are like, yes, I think there are women that are like size queens. And I also think that women are like, meh, that's fine. What else can you do? And what else can he do in bed? He could easily like make that up. We find out that he is married, which is interesting. because this is supposed to be before the 90 days, and it kind of is in that they've never met. And also, it's she's not we're not talking about a visa yet. But the reason why they got married was because Anna was like, you can easily come into the country if you're a spouse or family, and this is how you do it. Now, what had happened was they found an online marrying place. They get married online, and then COVID happens. And again, he doesn't have the money, so he can't go to the Philippines. And then years go by. They've been married, he says, for 2 years. And she's like, nope, he's dumb. It's almost 3. But it's a 6-year relationship. And she's also like, he is yummers to look at. Honey, he is yummers. Um, he's like, I had doubts about her, but I also had faith. And when you know, you know. I wonder if like Lisa heard that. She's like, yeah, when you know, you know. I don't know. He also says when he first met her, it was like super positive vibes. But unfortunately, he says she has changed. And then she says, honey, that she didn't change. She just doesn't like to be controlled. And she doesn't want to be like a typical submissive person. She literally says, men's do not control me. And obviously, a way we've heard before. And we respect it. Men's don't control me either, girl. I don't like this because we start to realize that there's like this storyline of her being crazy or abrasive or whatnot. But what is making it happen is his shittiness. So he's out shopping with his sister, Ashley, who is cute and has her shit together because she has adorable tortoise shell glasses on so she can see what's happening. And she also picks out a shirt for him that is hideous, which I also feel like she knew it was bad. It's purple. It looks like again one of those I don't know why I say it again. It looks like one of those weird art pieces like from the 90s where you have to look at it and then fuck up your eyes and then like something pops out at you in the middle. It's like geographic. It's gross. He buys it knowing it's gross. She's like, here's the thing. Your wife calls me like while I'm at my work and I can't get off the phone and she's complaining about you and some woman. Now, half of me is like, Ashley, why'd you pick up the phone if you're at work? That's on you. That's a boundary. If you don't want to talk, then don't pick up the phone. Or if you're at work and you can't talk, don't pick up the phone. Or if you're at work and someone's texting you, you say you're at work, you can't talk, and you'll call them when you can. Okay. But like, don't pick up the phone and then complain that she won't get you off the phone. You have like every option to just hang up. She also is like, so what is this thing about this woman and like what's happening? And then she has to hear her dumb brother be like, yeah, uh, I'm talking to this lady that I used to know and we like lost touch. But then when I was feeling shitty about my marriage, I reached out to her again and we've been talking. And then I somehow told that to Anna Lynn and she had the absolutely astute reaction of being like, that's emotional cheating. Don't fucking do that. And I've like not taken that well. I think she's crazy. And Ashley's like, what the fuck are you saying? That's exactly it. I mean, Javon then turns all of this around to be like, yeah, but she just like isn't I can't talk to her and like it's really hard and I just like feel really bad for her myself and so I have to talk to this lady that like, yeah, maybe one time we almost hooked up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There was like a little history there. And that's what Ashley's like, shut the fuck up, you asshole. That's what I said. Ashley's like, Anna's a good time. She's funny, you know? So if I were you, I would just fucking bite the bullet and just like, whatever she's saying is probably true. He thinks it's okay to go outside of this marriage to talk about the marriage. And then this is another weird thing. He's like, yeah, Annalyn blocked me. But the next day, he's supposed to be finally going to the Philippines. So then they FaceTime. This feels fake. And she's like, yeah, your sister told me to unblock you, and now what do you want? And he's like, well, can you not be so fucking harsh? And I would be like, are you seeing each other tomorrow? I don't understand. Are you planning on, okay. He's like, you just won't take accountability. And she's like, for what? And he's like, yeah, because you're not easy to talk to. And she's like, so talk to someone in your life then about it. And he's like, well, I tried. She's like, you have a fucking mom and you have a dad, you have a sister who I talk to. You're American. Get therapy. And I loved her for that statement. Now, this also made me feel like she thinks that he has more money than he does. But it also made me think, is he working in the health industry in a way that they provide benefits? Because if they're providing benefits, then we would see if mental health is one of them. He wants her to take accountability for how she made him talk to another woman. And that's when I said to myself, Javon, your small ass dick is the least of your problems. That's the least of your problems, buddy. That's crazy. The fuck are you going to say that this woman should be nice to you all the time? And if she isn't, you're going to go have a conversation with some bitch you've already like tried to hook up with and then put that on her? No, that's not rational. I'm trying to turn it around. Okay, so if I'm married and I can't talk to my husband, which then I would talk to a friend, oh, or someone else. But let's just say, would I be like, you're not easy to talk to. So I'm gonna talk to someone else that like is only too happy to also maybe give me his dick. It doesn't bode well because a couple of things. You should be able to talk to your significant other and spouse. You should also have like boundaries and security within yourself so that you can say the things you need to say and then be okay with the consequences. The consequences when you're married to someone you've never met is like that person yells at you on a phone or on a FaceTime, in which case, just like Ashley, you could just hang the fuck up. Or you could also just not marry someone that you've never met. I mean, I don't quite understand why you would get married to someone if you don't even have enough money to go visit them. I wonder who pushed for that. And if it was her, then I need that to be then I do need to lean into the fact that how rich does she think that he is? And is it one of those things where she thinks all Americans are rich? At the same time, it's like a little bit of a double-edged sword because what he's saying is that American women won't be with him because he doesn't have six pack and six figures and 6 inches. And so what is he expecting like a really beautiful woman in a different country to be okay with? Because we already know, you know, what he doesn't have. And he also doesn't have like communication skills and he doesn't seem to have a lot of like wherewithal or a lot of like dignity in himself. Also, are we all like, why aren't you with that bitch that you keep talking to then? Why don't you just like tell Anna Lynn you made a fucking mistake and the good news is that, it's just a marriage online. You can easily get rid of it, I'm sure. You've never even met in real life. It's surely not been consummated. Is that a real law? Who knows? But at the same time, this feels kind of like Laura and Michael, like, who is this woman and why aren't you with her? Maybe he's like, yeah, she's in a marriage too that she's unhappy with. And then I'd be like, does her husband know that she talks to you? And that she once also like had a dalliance with you? And is her husband in this country? Answer all these questions for me. Um, so Annie Lynn's like, I've sacrificed by waiting for you. I've been waiting for you to get your shit together and you surely haven't. until I guess now, then I really don't wanna see you. And she sort of gets him to say that he'll stop talking to that other woman, and then he's like, "Yeah, only if we work on communication." I would be like, "Oh, if you wanna be with her and you wanna talk to her, then just be with her and talk to her. Good. Bye. I can go back to doing whatever the fuck I'm doing." Now, we have to believe that she really has, Anna Lynn, sacrificed by waiting for him. We have to believe that she's not entertained any other suitors. She surely I believe that she finds him physically attractive, at least on paper. I really wanna know if he's sent her any money. That's what I need to know. He does have a job and he lives in Alabama, so he is making money in a place that doesn't seem to cost a lot of money to live, okay? If that's rude, I'm sorry. So all I'm gonna say is that where is the money going that he makes? A and is this like a temporary job or is this like a part-time job? He seems sad and he knows it. He seems just like a little like a failure to launch or like someone who is like stuck in a cycle of feeling bad for themselves and like not wanting to like really take accountability for where they are. I really would have been on his side up until he said that she needs to take accountability for the fact that he went to go talk to another lady. And now I know he isn't shit. I mean, by on his side, I would have still been like, "Oh, buddy, you and your small dick, why broadcast that to the world?" Because we have to assume that there's a good possibility that this isn't gonna work out with Anna Lynn, and you have a lot of years on you to let the entire world know, like, how you can't fill out, like, a boxer brief, you know? Okay, let's move on to Emma and Zayed. Well, after the first night that was horrible, he decides to go play with something that is easier for him to deal with, snakes. He just goes into town, honey, and just is like, "I'm gonna, like, hang out with a snake charmer and do some of that." Some of these, like, B rolls, I'm like, "Oh my god, how prevalent are snake charmers in Morocco?" I guess I have to go to be like, "Is this on every street corner?" Because it feels like a trope. By the way, I mean, a lot of people are saying from The Other Way that, like well, I'll go back to that maybe Dylan of The Other Way, like, has his Aussie-ness that's, like, kind of a trope, like, how much he eats kangaroo and all that stuff. But so I wanna always know, like, how many snake charmers are happening in Morocco? Because it seems wild for Zaya to be like, "I need to get out of the house and do what I like to do, play with some snakes, flute with some snakes." So when we get back to Emma, honey, we get a lot of information just by visual cues. She's using a hair straightener to straighten her already straight wig hair. I guess that's so it lays right. It's like she's just constantly straightening fake fucking hair, synthetic. I know what the smell of that hot tool smells like. Oh my god, I can smell it. You know who can also smell it? That lovely woman who is like the worker servant of the home that they're staying in. She's also putting on bronzer, and it's Anastasia by Beverly Hills, and, I see that. On her Instagram, I have seen a lot of comments. She's curating her Instagram so that people are like, "Oh, you're so hot. What makeup do you use?" And she's like, "Oh, girl, this and that." At one point, I saw a Reddit post where she said that she has, like, a part of her is African American, is Black American. I'm not African, Black American. I don't know if that's where that is exactly. I have to just, I guess, believe her and pretend, that I didn't see her twin sister. And if it was just her sister, it would be like, okay, but she said twin. I mean, I don't know. Listen, is Emma Rachel Dolezal or does she have Black American in her? Who knows? I have no idea. But it was like brought up like as maybe like her talking about whether she uses wigs or not. And she's just like, I have hair. I just like wigs better. She I bring up, like, the fact that what her ethnicity is because she seems to be doing what the Kardashians did, not just the fact that she has absolutely modeled her entire vocabulary and cadence to the Kardashian tongue, but also, like, she certainly seems to be bronzing herself darker, like, wanting to appear of a different ethnicity. Because I do feel like if you were to take off the wig and the makeup and the bronzer, she would look just like her twin sister, and I think her twin sister is really beautiful, and I think that Emma is, like, a pretty girl, it's just that everything is very distracting. Like, the amount of caked on makeup and, like, the, like, colors of her makeup and, of course, the wig and where it's sitting and also the bronzed of her hairline and I mean, and the fillers and all of the Botox, it's a lot. Um, I will say that I think that her boob job is, like, a lovely size, though. And obviously, women have a horrible time in this world trying to be as beautiful as they can be to attract whatever men they can attract, because that's the way things are. Emma has already been married to another Moroccan man, so I don't know if, like, she just has, like, a thirst for hummus. She got that hummus fever, honey, I'm not quite sure. But it's interesting. Because she said that she's been married before, it does feel like she is aiming towards a certain life, like, Tiger Lily was like this too, where they want to be treated like princesses, and they feel like Arab men treat them like princesses when they play along. And that is it. I would say, like, from my vantage point as being a Syrian Lebanese woman, the kind of man that is Arab that wants to treat their woman like a queen or princess in like this only works if you play along with making them the king at all times. And the king's word always flies, is it. Now, if you're American, that's a hard fucking pill to swallow because what you're swallowing is your entire self identity, tongue, opinion, all of it. You just have to like keep it down so that you can pretend to be a pretty little princess. And pretty little princesses, yeah, like maybe they hold a door for you or they'll put in your chair, and that's to be expected, or they'll hold your bags for you. But you sacrifice a lot, especially for someone like Zayed who isn't even making her feel like a pretty princess in that he can pay for her whole life. Yeah, he can buy her, like, a wallet, but Emma just seems to be wanting to cosplay as, like, someone else. So I don't know what's to be believed or not. People in the streets are like, "She's tried to be on the show before, that's why," and maybe she just wants to be famous, and certainly, I think that she does wanna be famous. Like, I certainly think that she would absolutely love to be considered, like, a hot girl Instagram baddie Kardashian influencer, which she's not the only one. She a lot of people that are like, "Oh, Shekinah, you're like Shekinah," and I think that she's eating that shit up. Um, but basically, they go and have a beautiful breakfast. She hates eggs, but she'll eat them, and she apologizes for rejecting his kiss. And then this is also okay. And then he's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you for apologizing to me. Let me hear it again." Then they go out and about. They go to a bazaar, souk, Medina to shop. She lets him know that she's been fired from her job. He's like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. There's other jobs." It's like very typical. Uh-huh. Okay. That's not going to be, she has to understand if she wants comfort, it's not going to be from Zayed. I think sometimes a lot of Americans want emotional comfort from, the people that they're interested in that are from different countries. And those different countries don't value emotional comfort talks. Annalyn doesn't from the Philippines. Like, she doesn't want to fucking have to hear her dumb husband like complain about his problems. No. And Zayed is from a country where they don't talk about that shit. They just don't. He doesn't want to hear about your problems. Not at all. But as they shop and as she's like, hold this, and she's like, I just, want to tell you about things. And he's like, I don't want to hear it. She's like, I just want to tell you about my past. He's like, fuck that past. Never happened. He's like, if it happened, fine. But I already know everything I need to know about you. You're hot and you're here. And she's like, no, 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 that's not it. There's things you don't know about me. I've been married before to another Moroccan. And he's like, nah, I just don't care. Really hear me when I say I don't care about that. I mean, again, she didn't actually say that. She thought that in her mind, but he doesn't care about her past because he doesn't want to hear it. And he doesn't definitely want to tell her about his. And he doesn't want any negativity. Arab men don't. They just want like a woman just to sit there and look pretty and like make them feel good about themselves. Period. Not all men, but the Arab men that like portray this like I'm gonna do this and you're gonna be that and I'm the king and you're the queen. It's like the Tiger Lily Adnan stuff. It's that like specific kind that are this way. They don't want to hear about your problems. They don't want you to tell them they're wrong. And they don't want you to like make it hard for them to get to the next moment. They only want women that will lubricate the present moment so that it's easier to get to the next moment in the future. By lubricate, I mean lubricate the present moment with utter sweetness and obedience. Levity, fun, sweetness, maybe affection. That's it. But don't come with any other part of you. Definitely don't come with like your thoughts or your worries. Leave them at the door. They're not to be here. So I will say that it's interesting. They are in this beautiful like shopping area. There's like horse rides and stuff like that. It was like almost like, I mean, this must be like a very touristy part. I was like, it's almost like, yeah, you're taking like a horse ride in Central Park, but it's in Morocco. God. He decides to eat snails in front of her, and she's like, gross. That's so gross. Ew, how can you do that? And I also want to be like, okay, well, let me just say this. If you're going to try and be a Kardashian Instagram baddie, one part of that, other than you having to look a certain way, is you having to portray aspirational wealth. You know what I'm saying? Like all the Instagram people like want to take pictures of them in beautiful places at a beautiful dinner so that you like, showcase a certain amount of aspirational wealth, which is like what the Kardashians and the Real Housewives do. It's like kind of their thing. It's like the thought, and I think it's dying if it's not completely dead, that people want to follow people to be like, oh, that could be me, or I wish that would be me. I wish I was rich. I wish I drove around and Hermes covered Bentleys, and I wish I, went to Cappy and Rock. I wish, whatever it is. So why am I saying all this? Because snails are like a delicacy. Snails are escargot. If you go to France, it's fucking everywhere. So to me, I was also like, Emma, I mean, you can't talk shit about snails and then try and be like a sophisticated bitch. Because like snails are kind of fancy. I wouldn't eat them. I'm just unfortunately, I'm getting to be even more like closed off when it comes to foods. Ugh, I've gotten to this place where I basically only eat chicken and beef and a like salami. Like I'll only eat pork if it's aged. I don't even like pork fresh. It's so weird. Um He's like, "Yeah, I'll eat these snails, but I'll tell you what's weird, sushi." She's like, "Sushi? That's crazy." And then she gets to be like, "Well, if I can't give you a kiss, I'll give you air kisses." And she's happy to be like, "Mwah, mwah." When he tells her that he does not want to hear about her past, we have to, in real time, watch someone realize that he does not care about her. But she's gonna hold on to, like, the play of it all by being like, "Okay, you don't wanna hear about me or my past or anything I've been through? You just think you know everything about me?" She knows he doesn't know everything about her. She knows in that moment how stupid he sounds by being like, "I know nothing about you." The fact that Zayed could say such a thing obviously makes him well, he is dumb. He's like a stupid, ignorant boy from a very, interesting part of the world, and he has, like, rarely thought about what life is like out of it. But so is she. In fact, I think that, like, maybe the only thing on this show that you have to be is a little bit ignorant about how other people live. It is like you have to be ignorant how other people live. And you have to have some sort of also a deep desire to change the person you're with to only live in the world you've known. Anyway, I'm gonna just think about that for a long time, but I think it's true. So let's move on to Forrest and Sheena. Now, this is hard. So let me say, the streets have on Reddit have brought up Forrest's tweets where he's like less than kind about like different people, like Sabrina Carpenter, about being like, I don't really like her or whatever. And people have been like, oh, Forrest is a bad person because of that. And I don't understand those things. To me, these tweets are just very online with someone who is a person who is on the spectrum, uh, open about that, and a virgin, and has lived with a person like Molly. All of his tweets, just not to beat a dead horse, are just the ignorant tweets of a man who has never put his penis in a woman and then has probably watched a lot of porn and then decides to, voice his own opinions without, really caring how they look. And they're direct, very rude opinions, but that's on brand to me. Okay. Um, Sheena, I will tell you, Sheena and I have forged a relationship on TikTok. This is Chris Vera talking. This is true. And I love Sheena. And I think Sheena might be on the show. Like, I'm going to try and get her on the podcast. But I like Forrest and Sheena. And obviously, Forrest's mom is the villain here. And whether she's actually a villain or whether they're making her out to be a villain, it's interesting. Because one thing about this is that we've met Molly, and she obviously is an antagonistic person in this storyline. But we also are supposed to also believe that Sheena's parents are also antagonistic and or villainous. Now, in the next episode, in the previews for the next episode, Sheena has to literally say to Molly, "My parents are bad people." And Molly's like, "What? The stories are changing now." And I want to be like, "Molly, you're a bad person. Are you good or are you bad?" But the truth of the matter is, well, this is the truth. No one is entirely good or entirely bad. And that's just the way it is. Like black and white thinking, this person's bad, this person's good, is just not it. The farther we can get away from like judgmental thinking, bad, good, black, white, like it's just, well, the more emotionally evolved we are as people, and we can hold space for others, we can see others, we have empathy for others, and we understand, I mean, the many lives, well, not all of them, the many, we understand like the many worlds there are on this planet, and how you can be from Nigeria and, say you're a Christian and be talking to gods through some healer, like that's different from us, but how can you be Javon, and then finally find a woman that tolerates you and is happy that you call her and she's hot. She thinks you're hot, and she certainly doesn't care about your lack of abs or your bank account. And how can you fuck all that up by talking to someone else? I don't know. It's just this people make choices and people think the things that they think, and people are raised in whatever ways and worlds and religions that they're raised. And it's as individual and specific as it is to you, as it is to them. And all of the, like, things that they know that they have, like, put money on, the things that they hold true, that they then base other things on being true, like, has to be true for them to understand how the world works. As long as in the many times in which you can, like, open up your mind to see that, like, what you thought was right might not be right, or what you thought was true changed, because there is no constant in this world but change. Here we are. So we get a lot of information. So the mom, oh, sorry, Molly is, making sex jokes with Forrest and Sheena, like, a lot. And she obviously has had a weird relationship with Forrest where she feels very comfortable to make sex jokes. But at the same time, she's like, and he does it with me. Well, he's been talking that way with me too. Well, you're the mom. Also, Forrest doesn't seem like he has a lot of friends. It seems like you're only his friend. So he kind of, like, probably put on you a lot. And that's something Molly, as you, if you have, like, the wherewithal to have, probably you or Dev should have told Forrest to, like, make some male friends and talk about sex with them, and not Dev and your mom. We also find out that Sheena owns an apartment, but or sorry, Sheena has an apartment that her parents own, and that when Forrest and Molly and Dev came to visit her, Sheena's parents were like, Well, you can't stay with us unless you pay us rent." And they were, horrified by that, and were like, "Absolutely fucking not." And I agree. I heartily agree. I think it's very telling of them to want to charge them rent. It's not how you treat anyone that you think is gonna be a family, and it's definitely not how you treat anyone that you want to impress. And it's definitely not how you treat anyone who is going to marry your child and you respect your child. Yeah. They're driving in the Philippines, and Forrest is like, "It's hectic," you know? But, we got there, and, they go into the, like, Airbnb where they're staying, and he's holding that jackfruit, and he makes a sexual joke to his mom. She touches the top, and she's like, "It's sticky." He's like, "Well, don't touch it there, it's excited at the top." So what he said is, "Don't touch what looks like a big dick because there's cum on it," to his mom. And I went, "Mhm." I do think that this is a very toxic relationship between these two people that is weird, and I don't like it, and Dev hates it even more. It's why, like, Dev barely speaks because, like, he's so disgusted. Um, and I think that it comes from, no one telling Molly to shut the fuck up about sex in front of her, like, son, and also get him some fucking friends. The place they staying has 2 bedrooms, and the 2 bedrooms are shared by a wall that is as thin, I mean, as a, like, business card. It's a very thin wall. So thin you can hear Dev's thoughts. Like, it's a small wall. And, the first night, Forrest brings out all the lingerie that he bought for Sheena, and she's, like, into it. He also lets us know, well, let me say this. He buys her he brings up the lingerie, and he's like, "I got this cloth that goes on your body to accentuate your sexuality." And when he said that, we all laughed. "Hmm, a cloth that goes on your body to accentuate your sexuality." Like, not your curves, but your sexuality are the I don't know. It was all so formulaic. It was almost just like, yeah, it was so textbook. It was so what a nerdy thing to say. Sheena loved it. She loved it. And also, I wanna give them the props for having this scene in what looked like very stark overhead lighting. The lighting was much too bright. It's much too I mean, what's the word when it's not incandescent? It's well, that stark white lighting, it's not yeah, it looks like you're about to, like, take an SAT test, honey. That lighting was too much. And Forrest is like, I wanna wait to have sex because I've waited this whole long and Sheena's a virgin, I'm a virgin, and, like, it just seems like we should get to know each other before we have sex, and it's, like, a really beautifully mature thing for them both to say. I was really happy about that because it is hard to, like, I'm sure, be a virgin with another virgin. I wouldn't know. And, feel all the feelings that you're feeling and then not just get super excited and be like, well, I'm supposed to do this thing and she wants to do this thing and we're supposed to be doing this thing. So let's do it to be a good, normal couple or whatever. Like they don't have that. And it makes me really proud of them. They seem to within themselves have found like a language and an understanding that feels respectful for both people. Even though Forrest and Sheena seemingly have one thing in common, I'm sure they talk about a lot, which is a fear of their parents. Forrest still thinks he can blow Sheena's socks off, and, I don't know exactly why he feels so confident. I'm assuming that he feels confident because, like, he's been making sex jokes to his mom this whole time, and his mom laughs at them, and somehow he thinks that, like, that alone will be indicative of being good at bed if I'm good at sex jokes. The answer is no. The next day, they're driving to Chinatown, and then Sheena gives us this, like, great history that before the Spanish, you know, came over and pretty much did whatever they did to the Philippines, that China had been there a long time, it was a huge trade route, and so there's, like, one of the oldest Chinatowns there with a really, like, fascinating history and lots of cool old-timey things. There's a word. Monuments? I'm not quite sure what she said. And she herself is, like, Chinese and Filipino. Um, Now in the car, Molly's like, "Well, I heard some interesting things. I heard some sounds last night. Did you guys do the old nookie nookie?" And this is after she had made the joke about them when they're in the confessionals where she was like, "A little wonka wonka." There's a part of Molly's, like, sex humor or humor that is, like, cat skills. Like, very old-timey, like, Charlie Chaplin-esque or whatever, like, the circuit of, like, comedians. The old nookie nookie is mm, this cringiest thing you could possibly say. All of our faces, like, melt off at, the thought of this woman saying that. Also, you didn't hear that. You didn't hear any interesting things. What you heard was Sheena being like, "Thank you for this purple fucking lingerie, and yeah, turn off the lights." That's what she heard. Also, could you imagine a world in which Sheena was like, "Molly, I heard Dev gurgling up your pea juice last night." No. Obviously not. The fact that she has no idea how she comes off or how horrible she is sad. Now, is Molly horrible? Not entirely, but surely she's not aware of her capacity for horribleness. And I'm always somewhat shocked because I am I do feel like I'm aware of my capacity for horribleness, and I feel like if I was on TV, you would see a different version of me. You would see someone on their fucking best behavior. You wouldn't see the person you're listening to or talking to now. I mean, this is my real self, but I mean, I'm not being paid to be on TV, you know? I'm just giving opinions on TV. But like my horribleness is like probably rooted in like my privilege and me being an only child. And I have always been, I think, deathly aware of that. And so I just, yeah, I think that on TV, I would be like, well, what a beautiful part of town, Sheena. Can't wait to meet your loving family who just seems to have some disagreements with how um, we'd feel comfortable, but let's just see what happens. I don't know. Molly doesn't have those problems. Molly's been, hyped up by a son and by Dev her whole fucking life to like come to a whole different country and tell people how to live their world. So in this car, we have to have Molly being like, well, if you want to talk to me about sex, you can always talk to me or you can talk to Dev. And Dev's voices his voice to be like, I'm interested in sex. But let me tell you, it takes a good long time to be good. And Molly's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And if you don't want to have penetrative sex, you can have oral sex or fondling. And then Forrest is like, fucking what? And also, if I want to talk to you about sex, which mom, I usually do, let's be honest, I'll come to you. I'll ask you to talk about it, but this seems awkward to do in front of Sheena. Now, Molly doesn't want anything to change. Molly doesn't want anything to change in her life or Forrest's life. She somehow wants Forrest to like absorb Sheena's entire life and then have Sheena just be, well, I guess what Zayed wants. Molly wants Sheena to provide the lubrication of ease in the present moment to get her and her son to the next moment without a care in the world. And Sheena's like a whole ass person with wants, dreams, desires, fears, insecurities. And that is annoying to Molly. She doesn't want to hear it. It doesn't help what she wants. We get a little bit of interesting B-roll, which is that, or whatever, or interesting snaps during this part of Chinatown, which is that there is a procession of Catholic culture, and then Sheena is like, fiesta. It's a fiesta, which is, the word party in Spanish. And I had to do a deep dive. And by deep dive, I literally just had to text my beautiful Filipino producer, Christina, be like, what? What is that? What's fiesta? And then Christina was like, oh, girl, it's like a feast. It's like, they're just like, it's a feast of one of the saints, You're like, oh, yeah, we Catholics love a fucking feast of a saint. I mean, my God, you don't even like talk about that anymore. That's like some hardcore Catholic shit. Like where you have name days and the feast of your name day, when you name your child, whatever the saint was that was that day. There's more than probably 365 saints because there's a saint day of the year. Every day there's a saint associated with that day. They must have processions like this all the time. Must be like a parade culture. So at this point, Sheena is showing them around and doing a great job. And then Sheena's like, wait 1 second. I know what you guys like. It's eating. I'm going to take you to a place where they do handmade noodles. And I'm like, oh my God, it's handmade like ramen or handmade whatever. I'm not quite sure exactly. And I'm afraid to fuck it up. But obviously, handmade noodles is what I'm going to like rest my laurels on. And she even is like, yeah, you guys enjoy, slurps up. I know you're going to do it anyway. And they do. They slurp the shit out of this like yummy ass soup with these noodles. Like looks like us, I guess like ramen, like I've already said. And then Molly is like sweating, from the yummy noodles and also how hot it is. And also because inside she knows that she should not fucking do what she's about to goddamn do. And as she's sweating, she's like, Sheena, why did you lie? Why did you lie? Sheena, why did you lie to me? To Forrest, to me? Now, what she's mad about, which the entirety of the Men of the Universe is like, whose money is it? And we'll understand this. Sheena has a whole ass job obviously she takes care of animals. God bless her for doing it. And not just animals. She actually also is a breadwinner for her family. I don't know if she's the only breadwinner. I'm not quite sure. But obviously, she makes more money than other people in her family. And therefore, she gives them money. She comes from a culture where it's it's part of the culture that you give money to your parents and stuff like that. This is so wildly different from American culture that Americans can't wrap their head around it. They cannot. In America, your parents are the ones that give you money. And this generation, like the generation of like most people, well, I don't want to say this unless it's true, but okay, let me just say to me, it seems like a blanket thing of most people my age are not as financially stable as their parents. So a lot of people my age got help from their parents past, past the years in which you'd want to get help from your parents. I mean, I know people that got help from their parents to buy homes. I know people that wouldn't be able to buy, would not have been able to buy the current home they're in if it wasn't for their parents giving them that money. So that's going to feel very fucking different from the culture that we're talking about. Sheena is like, my parents guilt me to give money. She has been putting money into a savings account, only her, not Forrest. It's her money that she has told Molly and Forrest that she is saving up so that she can get herself to America. And that's what Molly's mad about. She's Molly that Sheena, I'm sorry. Molly is mad that Sheena gave away her own money to her parents and lied, she says, to Molly and Forrest about that. And she does not understand why she lied. And so Sheena is like, let me tell you, my parents made me feel bad. They guilted me, used the obligation of our culture by saying, I need to give them that money or I'm a bad person. And I have a hard time making people upset or hearing bad things or hearing people yell at me this is like Sheena starts to break down. So it's very fucking obvious that she feels this way. She starts to have a panic attack. She's hyperventilating and Forrest and Deb are watching this and Molly does not stop. Molly's like, this is stupid. You're just being manipulative with your tears. I don't understand. And I don't understand why Deb and Forrest is like, Molly, she just fucking answered you. She At the end of the day, Sheena has like whoever amount of people that she feels like she wants to be truthful with or wants to be fair with, and she does not have any boundaries. I mean, she doesn't have a good she doesn't she seemingly needs help enforcing boundaries. So, being able to tell her parents, "I need money so I can move to America," didn't work. And maybe it didn't work because maybe her mom, who knows, was like, "Well, your dad's sick. So you're just gonna go to America and leave your sick dad? You stupid," I don't know. And made Sheena feel bad. And so Sheena did what Sheena could do with her own money. And Molly doesn't want to hear that. So as Sheena answers her by being like, I lied to you because my parents are scary and I can't say no to them. Just like it's scary to be in front of you right fucking now. Just like you're hounding me. Can you imagine if you actually gave birth to me and I actually felt guilt and obligation? It's impossible. Forrest finally, after like not stepping in, is like, well, I have to step in. And is like, shut up to Molly after too long and is like, you are being hostile. And also, I understand how hard it is to tell a person no, mom. Now, Molly is like, well, I see that Sheena's got her claws in him and now he's going to start doing things different. And it's like, yeah, bitch, because you've had your claws in him this whole time and he's sick of it. He's a grown ass man. He doesn't want to deal with you anymore. I don't even know how Dev does by not talking. I'm assuming I'm Freudian slip. I'm assuming Dev has some hearing issues, or he has a crazy way of compartmentalizing what he's hearing to not have to fucking pay attention to that. Molly's like, "Yeah, now we're the big bad guys that were getting mad at his beautiful Sheena." And it's like, well, I mean, yeah, Forrest thinks that, and we all do, girl. We all do. Molly is like, "I need to protect my son." And I think that Deb has to be like, "He's doing all this to get away from you. He's protecting himself from you right now." That's like what the thing is. He can't wait to get away from you. He can't even get hard yet until you get the fuck out of his life, probably. I don't think that he's gonna be able to be good in bed as long as he can have awkward sex jokes with his mom. I think that there's a direct relationship to Forrest's ability in bed to how, uh, sexless his humor and conversation is with his mom. True. Truth. Oh, my goodness gracious. I can't even. So we have one more couple left, and it's Laura and Birkin. Oh, Lord. Lord. Laura, Lord. I don't even know. This is also bad. It's really bad, you guys. It's not good. So she's letting in turkey, and he's ironing a shirt. I'm happy that he irons. I can't iron. I can only steam things. She rented a big Airbnb, sorry, a big Airbnb that's and he, doesn't actually have a place to live. So he's staying there. She's obviously on her way from Washington. It shows in a Chiron she's from Vancouver, Washington, and I was like, "Oh, is is that awkward? Or is that confusing for people in Washington? If you're from Vancouver, Washington, I don't is that just a city right by the actual Vancouver? And you have to be like, "Vancouver, American." Or is Vancouver, Washington far enough away that when they say they're from Vancouver, people are like, Canada? Canada. Why can't I talk? And why did I start a podcast? I'm kidding. It's because my thoughts just, like, go too fast. But yeah, like, I thought that was confusing. They should rename Vancouver, Washington something else, like Vancouver, Washington. Okay. Um, she's nervous, to meet him, and, it's because she has gone through, like, a weight loss journey, and I'm sure she's felt like other people have felt, and certainly like I felt, and I started about it, that, like, men don't look at you if you're a certain size, and, she doesn't quite know if she's the size that's appropriate yet or tolerable to him, which is, like, such a shitty feeling, and I know that feeling. Okay. So she gets there early and he's on the way. She texts him that she's already at the train station and she changes into a cute dress. And then she comes down the escalator and he's there looking at her and he says hello gorgeous to her right away. She's very into that. And they kiss. And it's like a kind of like an okay airport greeting moment. But then they go outside and then we have like the telltale confessionals. And the producers are like, "What did you think when you saw her?" And then he says, "I don't even have to see her. She's perfect. She's perfect." And then we start to realize he actually won't look at her. He's actually avoiding looking at her in this moment. And she's holding on to him, honey, as if he's like the strongest slash only branch off a fucking cliff and she's about to fall over. I mean, she's grabbing onto him like nobody's business. And he is like, "Yeah, so perfect." So then they get in the car or like, I'm sorry, a bus, and she realizes that it's not good. He again won't look at her and is just staring off in the distance being like, "Good you're here." It's mm. I mean, we can throw around words. To me, it felt a little neurodivergent. He's not making eye contact. You know? Like, I don't know if the streets are like, he's just not attracted to her, but I don't think that can be the case because Laura is beautiful. I think that Laura is beautiful, period. And Laura has, like, a gorgeous face and gorgeous eyes and a gorgeous body that has, like, gone through, the ups and downs of living in this world. And I don't understand how you can't look at Laura's face because I can. I think it's beautiful. And if you, like, had ever talked to her, if you had ever, like, shared intimate moments and emotional connection, if you can't make eye contact with her, it's indicative of either you being really nervous or you having some sort of problem within yourself. So they get to the Airbnb and she's certainly like, wow, this place is fucking big. And he's like, yep, I love it. I love the TV. I love the couch. And they go outside to the balcony. And I took a picture, as one does. Oh, okay. I took a picture and I didn't put it up, but you're gonna have to just trust me that when they go on the balcony, he has like a red light, almost like a laser that's being pointed at his skull. And at first I was like, I'm sorry, is Michael there? Is Michael on one of these rooftops? Is Michael about to fucking sniper the shit out of this bitch? Anyway, um, he also like Birkin beer can says a lot of like fluffy fucking pontificating shit that he thinks sounds like poetic. And maybe like the first one, you're like, "Oh." And then as it goes on, you realize this person is just saying bullshit lines without feeling present in the moment and connecting with someone. Architecture is the art that we live in. Oh, okay. So is the fashion. So is what you're wearing. People consider fashion to be an art form. So if you're wearing clothes, technically that's the art you're living in. But okay. Um She's like, "I know it's ridiculous that he's always saying dumb shit, but I don't mind it." And we're like, "Yes, you do." Laura, be Laura, be honest with yourself. Yes, you do. You don't wanna hear some 20-nothing-year-old just, like, pretend that he's fucking a philosopher. No, you're not. You're not smart. You're just saying things you've read, pretending that you thought about them. And also, you're not even present in the moment to look at someone. This isn't real. To me to me, artists and thinkers draw upon what they experience or what they see around them. And so you can't really be an artist or a philosopher if you aren't embedded at some points in the present moment, seeing what's actually around you. If you don't have like that openness to take in things, if you're always in your head, then you're not. I'm not saying that like people always have to give great eye contact to be artists or philosophers. But when I'm watching this man, I just yeah, I don't see like a great mind. I don't even see like connections happening behind his eyes that make me feel like his thoughts are warranted. So they get back to the Airbnb and it's still fucking awkward. And she's like, well, I'm exhausted and I'm going to shower and then I'm going to go to bed. And he's like, well, it's 9. So I'm just going to stay here and watch TV. I don't really get a chance to watch a lot of good TV on flat screen TVs and big apartments. So I'm just going to stay here and do what I want to do. And she thinks that's dumb. She's right. Then she goes to her room and she's like, yeah, Michael's been blowing my shit up. Michael tracked my flight. He's texting me. And when he texted her, he's like, how are things? And she's like, fine. And then he in the text was like, doesn't seem fine. That tone isn't fine. That's not how you say, I know you. And she's like, yeah, it feels off. And I just like can't believe he could feel that. He knew that. And it's really interesting how she can in real time viscerally feel the connection she has with Michael And obviously, viscerally not feel the non-connection she has with Beer Can, who, I mean, is doing whatever he can to get like 1 hour of TV watching on like a couch because he knows this isn't going to last for long. I wonder what he thinks she gets from him. Like, Beer Can, what do you think she's getting from you? Like love, affection? What has she been getting from him? Just like some weirdo that's like you quoting vague concepts to you all the time and you were like, "That's it?" I don't know. Um, but it's interesting because Laura and Lisa, besides the fact that they're two ladies on this show whose names begin with L and who are dating younger men who don't seem that into them and, have their own, and are dealing with and themselves dealing with their own insecurities, wig or body or whatever. You can see how I feel like Laura has a better propensity to be real with herself and be like self-aware and also like see the situation at hand. I don't know how she actually got herself to this exact position, but I mean, surely her parents had the same question, but I think Laura's going to quickly realize that he's not for her. And I wonder if Michael's going to come out to Turkey. Like, she's had that place, it's overlooking the water. There's, like, a whole part of me where I'm like, I wonder if she's just gonna be like, "You know what, Beer Can? Get the fuck out of here, buddy. Michael, hey, hey, boo, hey. I still have this place for another week. Turkey's great. Istanbul, Constantinople, just like that song. We can sing it together. It's your favorite song." I don't know. Um Istanbul was Constantinople. Okay. That reference just aged me so long. So many years. I just have to pick up my life, my dignity, and move on. My loves, that was the end of the episode. Ugh. I really found it so interesting though. I really love this season. I mean, I know I'm gonna say it every episode, but it's true. Like, I love this season. It's so good. It's awkward. And definitely some people like give me the heebie-jeebies. But at the same time, there's just a lot of information that's like fit for consumption and discussion. And I mean, guess what? That's why I have a podcast. I just like love talking about why people do the things they do, how it relates to maybe us. And also, I love talking about what they're wearing. Like, I loved Sheena's lemon dress when she was in Chinatown. And I also loved Laura's dress when she changed into that, like, navy number. And for some reason, I really care about a lot of people this episode. Like, I really care about I really care about Sheena. I really care about Laura. Like, I want the best for them in every way, and I care about Lisa's daughter. Um, I have no one to care about with Emma and Zayed. Um, Jovan and Annalyn. I mean, I don't I think it's not great for either one of them. And so yeah, that's where I stand of who I care about and who I don't care about. By caring, I mean who I like have love for. And the other people I don't mind watching and talking about. And I don't hate them. I'm just like, "Oh, your character is in a weird play that I keep watching." A weird serial play. Okay, my loves. Can you believe it? That's it. So, the way I'm working right now is Vanity Fair will host the 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 Days Season 8 recaps. On Patreon, you can go and see the video if you want to see me in real life talking about it. I have barely any makeup on. I put too much blush on, though, for this. I have been obviously abroad, so I haven't been able to keep up the YouTube in the past week. But coming up on YouTube, I will do a combo episode of The Other Way for the ones I missed, and Sister Wives. Those exist on YouTube. And then at some point, I'll put more episodes on Vanity Fair. Okay, my loves? I know it's confusing, but just bear with me. Also, give me 5 stars. Sorry. Give me 5 stars. Give it to me. All right. No, but truly, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for like spending any time listening to me talk, fucking up words left and right. But also know that I appreciate it. Like I appreciate that you listen to me or you care about, the thoughts in my head. Or I hope more so that something I say during episodes of this podcast feel good to you or feel like universally sound to you or that you feel like a connection to. And I know that anyone's opinion can be like judgmental or whatnot. So give me the grace if you can that we're all living in this world and trying to be our best, but also that we're trying to, change and make better choices. So, having said that, your choice to give me 5 stars will be a great choice wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, follow me if you don't mind. I'm at Chris L. Farah on TikTok, where I do so much 90 Day Fiancé content. It's otherworldly. Again, I've become friends with Sheena. And also, hopefully, we'll even get Manon on from the other way. Chris L. Farah on TikTok, Chris L. Farah on Instagram, Patreon Chris Farah, Substack Chris Farah, Facebook group, Vanity Farah, and you can also like the Chris Farah Facebook page. It's a lot. I know that, but so am I. And so's Annalyn, says Javon's sister, Ashley, who sees things beautifully through, gorgeous tortoiseshell glasses. I wish she can tell her brother what the fuck's up. All right, my loves. I'll talk to you later. Take a deep breath with me. One more, because we're all present right now in this moment. And being connected and present is what makes us artists and what makes us thinkers. It's by observing and being here. All right, my loves. So take care of yourselves and one another. This is the brand new year, so it's really important. Take care of yourselves and one another. Stand up for what you believe and make art. All right, my babes. I will talk to you later. Thank you so much. Bye.